I've been asked so many times over these last few weeks during webinars, conversations with executives or people that are looking to book me for keynotes. The question has always been this one. Janine, we're not sure how to network online. How do we network online? Is it different to online versus virtual? Here's my answer. Irrespective of where we network, networking is all about connection. Connection is all about being yourself, and being yourself is all about being human. My biggest fear right now, my biggest concern is that we are even more connected than ever before. The fact that our diaries, our days are jammed with Zoom meetings or other ways of connecting online. It's like we're constantly in front of this screen. We are more connected than ever before at work and at home through our smartphones, through our computers. And yet, we're more disconnected than ever before. Edward Hallowell, who's an American psychiatrist, actually said never in human history, and he wrote this before COVID, right? He said never in human history have our brains had to work with so much information as they're doing today. In fact, we're so busy processing information. Our brains are so busy processing information. He says that we have lost the ability to think and feel. I'll say that again. We've lost the ability to think and feel. Whew. And I read in a Huffington Post article that, again, this was pre-COVID, it had already been identified that we were living in an age of isolation. The stats about loneliness were already on the increase pre-COVID. And if you look at the impact on individuals' mental health and well-being, on just listening to the vernacular and how people are talking, we are feeling lonely, we are feeling disconnected. And that is in spite of being connected via the screen every single day. So to answer that question again, is there a different way that we should be networking online versus offline? My answer to that is no. It's exactly the same. We've just got to connect with intent and bring our human to every connection. But I want to give you 3 tips. The first tip is be intentional, not passive. Be intentional, not passive. Now, in my book that some of you will have seen, look at all those notes, it's hilarious. I talk about the core people, the core 4 people, and I also share, I don't know if you can see it, the critical 12 people that you need in your world. I can honestly tell you that over these last 3 weeks, with everyone I've spoken to, they have forgotten to connect with those people. They're so busy saying yes to Zoom meetings and yes to this and yes to that, that they are failing to be intentional in their calendars about connecting with the important people around them. Those people that are their marketing machine, their personal board of advisors, their intelligence bank. In my book, It's Who You Know, I label those people as promoters, as teachers, as pit crew and butt kickers. When I talk about being intentional, not passive, what I mean is lock in your calendar time to connect with people with no agenda, time to reach out to those promoters, those teachers, those butt kickers, those pit crew. Put it in your calendar as a diary hold to reach out, to connect, and to be intentional about that connection. Because it really is who you know that matters. And the people that you surround yourself with will be the ones that will fuel that connection, that will fuel that sense of belonging, that will make you feel like every single day is better and worth it. And we need these people around us, not just the people that are invited to meetings on screen. So number 1, be intentional, not passive. Number 2 is all about be engaging versus silent. And it's linked to number 1 a bit, but be engaging, not silent. What I mean here is engage with people. Don't go quiet. Don't go silent. Don't wait for people to call you. Don't wait for people to reach out. Now, I get that some of us are still living in lockdown, but you can still engage. You can engage through setting up those virtual coffee meetings. You can make a phone call instead of being on Zoom. You can have lunch together. My kids are brilliant at this. They're watching movies together with their friends around Sydney. find a way to engage with those important people so you feel connected and a sense of belonging versus staying silent. Silence fuels our sense of isolation. Silence fuels our sense of disconnection, and we have to be intentional and we have to be brave enough to put ourselves out there to fuel that engagement versus sitting there in silence. Number 3, the final one, is about giving versus taking. What do I mean about this? It's about being intentional again, thinking about how you can help other people, getting curious about how they're feeling, getting curious about the support that they need, getting curious about how you can help their success, caring about their success more than your own. And this requires you to really ask that deeper question. I often say to my clients, go one step further. Don't just go, what did you get on with at the weekend? What did you do at the weekend? And move on. Go deeper on the questioning, because the deeper the questioning goes, what did you really do at the weekend? What did you really, really do at the weekend? Or how are you feeling? Now, how are you really feeling? How are you really, really feeling? The deeper the questioning fuels that engagement, and also it creates that opportunity to give, to identify where you can help another person versus take. So, to wrap that up, no, networking is no different in person than it is online, in my opinion, because I believe networking is about connection. Connection is about being yourself, and being yourself is all about being human, and we've got to bring the humanity back. That requires 3 key strategies, which are all down to you. Number 1, it's about being intentional, not passive. Number 2, it's about being engaging, or engage versus being silent. And number 3, make sure you are giving versus taking. Connection matters. Connection is the fuel to our sense of belonging and our sense of meaning. And when we surround ourselves with people that are fueling that sense of belonging and meaning, then everything is better. So I'm curious, I'd love to know, what are you going to do that's much more intentional in terms of connecting with your network this week than you have done up until now? See you next week.